If one afternoon, if you were to ride with Thomas the Tank Engine, you would ride with him, Annie, and Clarabelle on his own beautiful branch line. You would also ride with them to the junction where he would meet their friends, like Percy the Green Engine. He helps Thomas on his branch line by pulling stone to the harbor. He would also take the mail to far and wide stations beyond Thomas's branch line. It is Percy's favorite job so far on the whole Soda Railway. Everyone knows Percy, and Percy knows them. They are all Percy's friends. One day, Percy was talking to the other engines of the ships. Sir Topham-Hatt's Railways is the beautifulest railway I've ever been to, he said to the other engines. A steamroller is coming here today. I can't wait to be friends with him. The other engines looked at each other suspiciously. This steamroller hates railways, James said frustratedly. You better look out for him this afternoon, Gordon added. Pah, Percy remarked. This steamroller doesn't sound very rude to me. I can be friends with him. Before they could argue, a loud whistle filled the air. And out shoved in a grumpy steamroller. We know this to be our friend George. Looky here, he growled loudly. Useless old steam pots belonging to a scrapyard. The other engines rolled their eyes crossly except for Percy, who was confused. Bye, George continued, and puffed away. The next morning, Percy puffed in with the mail train. He felt happy to be at work again. Just then, he saw George shuffling in to mend the roads. Hello, George, he wished happily. George was standing no nonsense. I haven't time to talk to you, old green rust bucket. Percy was speechless. Bust my buffers, he cried. What a horrid steamroller. George took no notice and went to work. Later, Percy arrived at the quarry to help Mavis. The stone was going to the station where George was repairing the road. Percy and Mavis worked hard until first daylight. Be careful, warned Mavis kindly. The freight cars have been behaving badly. I knew how to handle freight cars, Percy protested, and puffed importantly away. Meanwhile, George was working happily. He was still thinking of more things to call Percy. But that was easier said than done. Percy was puffing happily towards the station, but the freight cars were tired of being pushed around. Their leader Scruffy said, Let's pay Percy out when we get to the station. As Percy puffed into the station, George working ahead. Percy prepared to slow down. Brakes, conductor, please, he called. But before he could do that, the freight cars surged ahead. Go on, cried Scruffy. On, cried the freight cars. George's driver jumped back just in time. Stone was everywhere, and George was trapped. Bother, he groaned. Soon Thomas arrived with the breakdown train. Cinders and ashes, he joked. Looks like old George here has gotten himself trapped on his own road. Their drivers and firemen laughed, except George, who kept very quiet. Soon Percy was repaired and put back to mail work. Meanwhile, George had been locked up in his shed until he can learn to respect engines more often. I hope he does, don't you?